Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another figure review. Today we have something very special, and that is the Arknights Hoshiguma 1/7 scale figure. Now this is her Patrolin Ronin skin in the game Arknights. This is brought to you by NEX, as Furyu is the manufacturer of this particular item. Now, I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on this particular one, as it was very elusive and has been delayed multiple times. On the front of the box, you can see the art very straightforward. And on the side, we have some other art as well for giving you a preview of what is going to be coming inside. Now on the back, we have some information for general production, the 1/7 scale indicator to let you know what you're going to be getting. And over here we have the NEX branding. On the other side of the box, you have just very general information and little pictures here and there. And on the top, we have more of the same. And now we have to get inside of this box, this steel fortress, and there's only one way that I know how. Well, that got her nice and loose, so now we can just go in from the bottom. Here we're going to open it nice and carefully, and right away we're going to be greeted by the instruction manual. Here you have many types of instructions on where to put the many pieces of the figure, and on the reverse side it's not in English. No worries though, now it's time to slide the figure out to get a closer look at her. She just kind of slips on out of there, and inside of the box you can see a checkered pattern with her name Hoshiguma. Now here she is in all of her wondrous glory in the front-facing position. You can see copious amounts of packaging to protect the many parts. But no matter, we will get into this figure regardless of how difficult. Here she kind of just pops right out, and right away I can tell by the feel in my hand that this is a high-quality figure. Once again, all the packaging and careful preparation into making sure she does not get damaged is highly impressive, going to show the level of quality you can expect from this manufacturer. Here you can get a better look at her from the front-facing position and see all the subtle nuances and levels of high-quality detail. Next, we're going to be observing her base, for which this is what she will be standing up on. Here I'm going to just slip it on out of there. And based upon the level of weight I can feel in my hand from this base, I can tell it's going to be very sturdy. Here you can see the high levels of paint and detail in the smoke in the clouds to give a very interesting effect. And on the back it's very well secured with metal pegs. This will help ensure that she stands firm, strong, and proud. Now here you can see the accessories that you will be getting with her. It contains very many katanas, so let's just get this out right away without cutting ourselves. And here you can see this is also protected by many types of paper. Now upon covering this, you can see how much care was put into it. It comes with 3 swords, a flag, and her main weapon. This weapon is actually a shield that spins around at high velocity. And right away you can see the painstakingly detail in the stickers, the material, the shading, and the coloring to make it mimic that steel look. It is highly impressive to look at and even more firm in the hand to hold. Another overly looked detail is that the backside of the weapon actually has a Oni mask on it. Now this is a high quality mask too for something that's going to be mostly viewed from behind, so you may not be able to see it at first without it rotating. Now here you have the swords. They're very high quality and they look very sharp despite just being plastic. Now all these little accessories, the swords, the flag, and whatnot are going to serve as the set piece for the figure in the background. They will be sticking out of the smoke of the stand to help illustrate the effect of a war-torn background. Here you have the flag. It's a nice solid plastic, not too flimsy at all. And here you have a support for the heavy weapon. All of these parts are very high quality and make me very confident in my purchase of how this figure will look at the end game. Now we're going to get them all laid out before us. There we go. Now we're ready to really dig in and feast upon what we have gotten. Here you see the little smoke strands that will be attached to the weapon in the stand, the plastic flag, and her heavy weapon with hand accessory. Now here I'm going to lift up Hoshiguma to get you a closer look at her belt accessories. That includes the Oni mask, a napkin, and a pouch. They are very highly detailed and a wonder to look at. The painting on them is quite superb. It is hard to believe that a figure like this would sell for only $160 US, whereas other figures around this price point you do not get nearly as much. And that includes the background, the high level of detail, and the great paint job on it. Here you can see a close-up of her face. She's quite beautiful. Now we're going to get her little accoutrements on. There's the smoke, putting her on the stand nice and carefully. The metal pegs will help make sure she is secured. Next, we'll attach the smoke to the sword. This will help give the illusion of movement in the figure. It just equips right into the back there. Here we have the longer second sword. It will equip into the back as well to help give the look of a war-torn battlefield behind her as she leaves victorious. There's the third and final sword, and lastly, the flag. And with that, we have it all together. Now that she's all set up, now comes the greatest metric when it comes to rating and reviewing a figure. The smellability score. I give that score an aggressive and fleeting 10 out of 10. It is quite immaculate, but will not last you very long. Now here we can get multiple different angles of the figure from the behind, the profile, the side, and the front. I have to say, I really love the color scheme going on with this figure. The green and the black shading, and the clouds and the weaponry all serve to make the figure elevated beyond another level. Now the way the lighting hits this weapon is very striking indeed. You can really get a sense of feel from just looking at it that is heavy metal, but I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is still plastic, but it's still nonetheless sturdy. That goes for the swords as well and the smoke. Here you get a back view of the Oni hiding behind the hair in all of its wondrous glory. It's a devilish face indeed. Now here you can see the face sculpt of Hoshiguma and how detailed and flowing the hair looks. The use of negative space at the top really helps elevate and pop this figure out, especially with that alluring green hair. Not to mention the curious horns sticking out of her forehead. Now here you can get a look at her shiny, detailed boots. The stitching in them is quite detailed indeed. They have a very popping texture to them, not to mention the sheen from the leather of the boot. I have to say, for a figure, this is a high level amount of detail that you just don't see anywhere else. Now here you get a front-facing view of Hoshiguma and how beautiful she is, the red buckle under her chest, the detail of the Oni and the waistcloth, the pouches, and the pants and the stitching. It is quite wonderful. Here you have her hand grasping the weapon, not to mention all the curious little details of the stickers. My favorite's the cat one. Here you see that they spared no expense in recreating the artwork from the original Arknights game for her skin. Another thing I love is her sleeves. Her sleeves are black and white and have an Oni print on them and are very striking, with just a bit of the shoulder peeking out under a strap. Here you see another view from behind, a more detailed look at the Oni. Here you have the face sculpt, very beautiful indeed. The red belt buckle holding up her chest. The sleeveless shoulders exposed, very nice touch. The hair, it's movable, but it's not too bad. And her horn is very stiff indeed. Be careful not to prick yourself. All in all, I have to say, if you could get this figure, you should definitely go out and buy it. The review is already over. If you can find this figure, there's no doubt in my mind that you should go and grab it. But finding it, on the other hand, might prove to be a different kind of beast indeed. Finding her is going to be very difficult. Now, if you go to an anime convention or secondhand store, if you can find her for the price point of, I don't know, maybe $300, I would say it's worth it. So go out there and just try to get this figure if you can find it. Now here on the back of the hair, you have a nice ombre effect of the hair going from different colors gradually. It looks quite beautiful. Here the wisps of smoke surround her feet of the black shiny boots. And I have to say, this figure is painstakingly beautiful and detailed. The amount of care and artistry that went into it just cannot be denied enough. Here you have it. Now, as for how big this figure is, it is about 10.5 inches. That's going to be about 270 millimeters. Here is a Coke can to help give you perspective. The figure towers over all, and the base is pretty wide. So if you were going to display her in a detolf, for instance, she may take up the whole detolf cubicle herself, but I'd have to say that might just be worth it. This statue and figure is an elegant showpiece that is sure to get many people talking when they come to your house to see it. This is the kind of figure that I can see no faults with, and one that you should be proud to display. Something that will just really shock and awe all who behold it. I really can't say enough good things about this figure. If I were to have to give it a grade from a scale from 1 out of 10, this would be a very confident 10 out of 10. That is right, folks. This is a 10 out of 10 figure. And if you can find it, I say you should buy it. That's all for this episode of BIP BAP Unboxing. Please like, comment, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you again soon.